I would like to take a trip through time with you. Let's assess the cost of our flux capacitor for the year 2013 in Argentina, a country located in the south of the south. Why this year? Because in 2013, the government officially stopped measuring poverty because, allegedly, it was something too complex to do. After the most recent change in government, poverty was measured again, and records show that 3 out of 10 Argentinians are poor. Many official statistics, such as index price, were adulterated, where real inflation rose more than 25% yearly. And criminal statistics weren't published because insecurity was rising, and that made government popularity decline. So, back to 2013, Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, our former president, is part of a ferocious confrontation with the main media outlets. So, she openly accused them of lying and showing a false reality, fake news. And media outlets, on the other hand, accused her of the same. After a few years, outlets start to lose credibility, as you can imagine, among a sector of the population. And the president start to lose credibility among other sectors. Public debate is polarized. Everyone reads, listens, and watches networks that prove they are right, while the country is still unable to solve our main problems. After several years, neither media outlets or Cristina are governing. Polarization is. Sounds familiar? My name is Laura. I'm the director of Chequeado, a non-for-profit organization dedicated to improve the quality of public debate in Argentina through fact-checking since 2010. We were the first one in the South Hemisphere when data and fact-checking wasn't trendy or a guarantee of money or fame, but of enemies. I come from that Argentina that I just told you about, where the official statistic agency was intervened when it in 2007. In the south of the south, it seems that things always arrive a little bit late than in the countries of the north. For instance, 4G only arrived 2 years ago. However, in this case, it was different. The dynamic that we are witnessing with Trump in the presidency of the United States was a reality earlier for us. So, I can say I come from the future. And I would like to tell you what we learned while doing this for the past 7 years. Fighting with polarization, institutional allies, populism, and the decadency, or perhaps the end, of traditional media outlets. In Chequeado, we had found, not without hindrance, that we believe are some answers to deal with these problems that keep globalizing. Would you like to hear them? Yes? Okay. We have found that in a context in which media and government are fighting to see who's right, audience lose focus. And instead of reasoning, they pick a side to follow, almost blindly. Because of this, we have decided that the key is to educate the audience, even though it's not easy, immediate, nor necessarily sexy. This is why we have taken a decision that seems a bit counterintuitive. We have opened everything Absolutely everything. We haven't only opened our budget, donors, or data we base our fact checks on, and are linked obviously in every article. We have opened our method to such a point that we explicitly mention it in every article. That is to say, we explain to the audience how we do what we do. We also do more than that. Somehow, we are the opposite of Coca-Cola and its secret formula. We teach whomever wants to learn how we do what we do. Yes, to whomever. Journalists from other outlets, independent journalists, citizens. We give courses, talks, and develop technology. Now, for instance, we are working on how to make part of the fact-checking automatic so that more people can do what we do. I understand that teaching other media outlets how we do what we do may sound odd. But you know what? What we earn is that several hundred of journalists in practically every main media in Argentina have taken our courses or writing in our network. And now they know how to do their work by opening and relevant data. And since there are plenty of fake news and lies around, there is work for everyone, as you can imagine. And we still fall short. During this time, we also learn that we can't leave an emotional monopoly to those who deceive. We do not believe that seriousness is the same thing as credibility. In fact, we know that people base their decisions regarding what to share on social networks on their emotions. That's why we squire our brains thinking about how to use humor and other elements that appeal to emotion to explain how we check, without underestimating the audience. For instance, we made this type of gifts. He's Macri, our president, and he's an opposition parliamentary. And last week in Buenos Aires, we used this experiment that I want to share with you today to confront the idea that we live in a time of the post-truth. Okay, we want to invite you to replicate this experience in your respective cities, and we can help you to do it. What we think the answer to this complex concept does not lie in thinking serious or traditional media versus fake news created by populists, mercenaries, or people trying to be funny. If we propose the problem in this manner, we will have lost before even starting. The challenge is that we can rescue from the good journalists to establish a new reading contract with the citizenry that believe in a new journalism, more open, collaborative, less arrogant, and precise. Let me tell you something else about tendencies. Tendencies realized on audience preferences. We fact-checkers, Chequeado, other 12 outlets in Latin America making fact-checking, and more than 100 worldwide, had been working for many years, earning more enemies than attention. So that one day, when these tendencies pass, leaders and media aren't the same, but much better, much more open, honest, respectful of the audience and the citizenry. I'm just finishing. Just one paragraph. I told you I came from the future. Something I can tell you about the future is that it's not as right and beautiful as we would like to imagine, but it's definitely better and more rational now than if we hadn't dedicated last 7 years to systematically checking what leaders and outlets say and to awaken citizens so that now are more aware and immune to scams. Thank you very much.